Hey friends, Epo here. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, I would always pretend that my character lived in one of the towns in-game. For me, it was usually Draynor Village. I've always had a soft spot for that place. So tonight, I wanted to take some time and rank the towns you can visit in RuneScape by how much I'd want to live there. Really, the only three criteria for the rankings are what housing is actually available, what activities are available for me in my daily life living there, and the overall aesthetics of the town. Oh, and this will be in a tier list format because I am a mindless drone. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get this video started. Taking Back Sunday from specifically 2004? What are you guys doing here? Hey dude, we stopped our show at Warp Tour to come down here to say you guys should like, sub, and comment on the channel. It helps this guy a lot, okay? So thanks for doing that. Okay, we gotta go back to our show. Oh man, you guys are the best, dude. Oh, those guys are awesome, huh? Alright, let's get the fucking video started.
Наконец-то ты здесь.
Appropriately, let's start where everyone's adventure begins. Lumbridge. So when it comes to actual available housing, there's really not much. There used to be a pretty cozy house here where the Sheared Ram now is, but unfortunately, it's not here anymore, so definitely can't live there. Some of you may be suggesting the castle, but I'm approaching this from the point of view of an average citizen and not somebody that find themselves in a castle like royalty. Honestly, the best option is probably the watermill. It's nice and cozy, you got your chickens outside, cows across the road, close to Varrock, but it's not too far from the general store and the church. So if I had to live anywhere in Lumbridge, it'd probably be here. In terms of activities, there's really not that much to do. You could fish in the River Lum or go to church, but other than that, I assume you'd probably be heading to Varrock for fun instead of hanging out in Lumbridge. When it comes to the aesthetics of Lumbridge, they're pretty up there. It's so warm and cozy. The iconic bridge over the River Lum, the wheat fields, the windmill, the forest behind the castle, the swamp. I especially adore this pond right outside of Fred the Farmer's house. I used to just hang out here as a kid so often in World 40. And, you know, with that being said, I'm gonna have to put Lumbridge in A tier. If there was more available housing, I'd probably put it higher, but it's a pretty good start so far. Moving just up the road here, we have Draynor Village, and I know I said before I do have a major soft spot for Draynor Village, but I'm not gonna let my bias get in the way, so when it comes to housing, there's some pretty decent choices, actually. This two-story house and the single-story house right across from it are two very solid picks. The one I'm choosing, though, is the two-story house, because I was always fond of it as a kid. I used to pretend I lived here a lot. Draynor Manor is also an option. It is abandoned. It's not a castle, so you could probably live there if you wanted, although it is haunted. The trees will hurt you. Crazy people are squatting inside of it, and there may or may not be a fucking vampire below. Not to mention the gallows outside, the piranha-filled fountain, the ghost upstairs, and the overall dilapidated nature of the building. Let's get down to the aesthetics. S-tier aesthetics for me. I'm so fond of it. This little tiny village with a big fucking haunted mansion on the outskirts of it. When I used to roleplay on RuneScape, this is where I would say my character was from. I love the market, the willow trees right by the coast, the dead trees of the Draynor estate, and the shadow of the Wizard's Tower looming over the village. It's so cool. Although Draynor Manor, besides the vampire in the basement, has a major problem. There's fucking highwaymen outside, and if that wasn't bad enough, there's dark wizards right outside of the market. So what is there to actually do in Draynor? I think the most obvious choice is exploring Draynor Manor, although you'll probably die. I'm assuming a lot of people that lived in Draynor Village probably died in Draynor Manor when they wandered in. So with that, I gotta put this big old baby in A tier. Moving on to another personal favorite of mine, Rimmington. It's cozy. What more is there to say? That's all I need to say, really. Primo house choice. Look at this fucking two-story banger of a house. It feels like I'm trying to sell you this house. You got the general store right outside. It's right next to the coast. The Rimmington Church is right down the coast. You got crafting and archery supplies on standby if that's what you're into. You got the Rimmington Mine right over there. And Melzar's Maze right down here. Look, check that out over there. Do you want to go in there? No, I didn't think so. Nobody else does. I gotta put Rimmington in A tier. All right, it's time for our first big city, Varrock. When it comes to housing, there's some solid picks. First off, if you want, you could just stay at the Blue Moon Inn. But for me, these two houses outside of the museum and the church respectively are easily my go-to picks, especially the one outside of the museum. Back when I was a dumbass little kid, I used to have a Runescape girlfriend, and we used to roleplay that this house was our house and that the kids in the fucking Varrock Museum were our kids. If the Blue Moon Inn isn't your speed, you got the Jolly Boar Inn right outside the walls, and that's a beautiful set of fucking real estate, dude. When it comes to activities, there's a decent amount of stuff to do. You can go drink at the Blue Moon Inn or the Jolly Boar. You can go get a reading from Eris. You can go to the Grand Exchange and buy and sell stuff. You can go to the museum and see all the cool stuff that they got. You can even go to the church and do whatever they do in a church. And Tolna's Rift is over here, too. You can climb down there if you want and have an awful time. Fucking living nightmare. Varrock does have its list of issues, though. It has a gang problem. There's dark wizards right outside the city gates. At the other end of the city walls, there's black knights just hanging around. All of that aside, the convenience of living right next to the Grand Exchange is unbelievable. Also, Gertrude is here, and she can give you kitties, so this tier. Edgeville is going to be an honorable mention, seeing as there's only one place to live, and it's Evil Dave's mom's house. C tier. Falador. What else is there to say? Aesthetically alone, I think Falador is better than Varrock, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. When it comes to housing, you have some pretty solid options. You got this bundle of houses on the east side of town, and I'm personally choosing this two-story one right here. It's right across from the party room, right next to the bank, and right next to the park. Visibly, Falador is a lot cleaner than Varrock. The white walls of Falador complement the green grass very nicely. When it comes to things to do, there's not that much, but it's not bad. You could go hang out at the park. That's probably what I'll be doing. There's the mining guild, if you're into mining. If you're a psychopath and like that. You can go get fucked up at the Rising Sun Inn. And the party room is right here. So just wait for a drop party or start one yourself. Also, you can look at the swans in the water, because swans are awesome and cute, and I want to hold one like a cheeseburger. If the shops in Falador aren't enough for you, just head down the road to Port Sarim and check out the shops there. And if you're bored of all that, head over to the Makeover Mage and turn yourself into a babe, and you can trick people into giving you free stuff. Put that little dumpling straight into S tier. Right outside of Falador is the first place I think a lot of us ever visited as members, Taverly. When it comes to housing, it's pretty modest. Druids aren't really that extravagant of people. I guess if I had to choose, I'd choose this little hut right here. It's got tables and chairs outside of it. You could drink some Guthix Rest there if you wanted. There's really not that much to do in Taverly. It's more of a place you pass through than live at. You could go hang out at the Druid Circle and chant. I don't know what the fuck they do over there, to be honest. You can go fuck with the evil witch. I guess you could throw bottles at her. So mean. There's the Taverly Dungeon. I guess you can go down there and, I don't know, die, probably, if you're just an average person. You can head up the road to Burthorpe. I'll talk about that in a second. Taverly, we're gonna put it in a B tier. It's whatever. Burthorpe sucks balls. These ones specifically. You'll probably get hit in the head by a rock thrown at you by a troll. And the only redeeming quality is the games room. Unlivable. Up next, we have Catherby, which is a little town focused around fishing and farming, two of the best skills, so that's already putting it up there for me. The housing situation isn't great, but it does have this little cute house right next to the farm that I'm choosing. It's a cozy little two-story house. It's not bad. What Catherby lacks in housing, it makes up in pure vibes. Imagine this with me. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Imagine this. You're sitting on the coast, listening to the water come in. You're smelling that ocean breeze. You get hit with the sea mist. you get fucking spritzed. A seagull is squawking overhead, the sun is shining, and for once in your life, things feel okay. Outside of farming and fishing, there's really not that much to do, but the peaceful life you could have here easily puts Catherby in S tier for me. I would love to live in Catherby. Just up the road from Catherby is Seers Village, and if you can believe it, there's Seers here. The housing situation here is not that good. There's really only one house with a bed in it, and it's occupied by Sincere. There's really not that much to do either. So I'm just gonna put Seers Village in C tier, because they can see the future. My bad. Next up, we have Ardougne, and this city was my dream city as a kid. The housing situation is not that impressive, although there is some nice pieces of real estate. I'm personally choosing this one right next to the church. It looks right over the River Doyne. When it comes to things to do around Ardougne, let me get this out of the way. There is a fucking zoo. The only zoo in Gielinor. There's also a market, and since Ardougne is the biggest city in Condaren, it probably gets a lot of activity. You can go over to Witch Haven if you're into... Don't go over to Witch Haven. East Ardougne is an option. It's kind of a shithole even after the plague, but they'll rebuild it eventually, I think. When it comes to downsides of Ardougne, there's really just only a major one. There's a fucking war down the street. That's just going on, just forever, pretty much. They're never gonna stop. Although, you could drink beers with your friends and just watch them duke it out, so it's really not that bad. Also, the Underground Pass entrance is in Ardougne, but you don't really have to go in there. Overall, Ardougne is a solid A-tier pick. I almost forgot about Relica. It's probably not that fucking fun to live here. It's probably cold, and do they have flooring in here? It's not unlivable, C tier. And here we have Canifis. There's really no place to actually live. I think all these people live within their shops. There are things that will bite and maim you. Although, I do like the idea of having a werewolf girlfriend. So, just by that fact alone, we're gonna put Canifis in B tier. Here we have Port Phasmatis. This is going straight into unlivable. Literally, it's unlivable. Mostly everybody here is dead, and the people that aren't are not even from here. Also, no building in this place has a roof. Berg de Rot is an area with buildings in it, and it's unlivable. And that's about it. Mayor Ditch is also a place with buildings in it, and it's also unlivable. It's just awful here. It's so bad. Dark Mayor, on the other hand, is actually not that bad. All you have to do is really put on a Vire disguise, and they just cannot figure out that you're not one of them. The housing situation could definitely be worse. I'm choosing this 2-story on the south side of town. It's got a cool-ass fucking coffin bed in it. Dark Mayor is also filled with hot vampire women that I want to pin me down and dig their claws into my chest and open up my chest cavity like a fucking taco shell. And with that, we're gonna put Dark Mayor in A tier. Here we have Slepe, which is right outside of Dark Mayor, and it's really not that bad. It's the only human settlement here that voluntarily gives their blood to the vampires. So it's really not a slum, it's kind of normal almost, besides for the blood tithe part. For housing, I'm choosing this fucking awesome 2-story right on the edge of town. Dude, this place has a double balcony, a super comfy looking bed, and this like cozy little fireplace room. It's pretty sick, honestly. Cromwick Manor is also here. Unfortunately, it is a shithole. If it wasn't a shithole, it would be a pretty nice place to live. There's really not a lot to do in Sleep, but that's okay, because there is a hot sisterhood of Zamorak worshipping healers here, so I don't really care about anything else. Oh, and Lithel is also here, and she's cute, so B tier. Up next is Yanille, and it's a pretty small city. It's cozy. There's really not much to do and not a lot of places to live. Although it does have the Wizards Guild, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, the city is under constant threat of ogre attacks. We're gonna put Yanille in C tier. This video is getting pretty long, so it's time for a speed round. Lunar Isle, I love its aesthetic and it's cozy, and the housing is really not that bad, and the citizens are cool. B tier. Nate-is-Not is honestly not that bad. It's fucking pretty cozy here. B tier. Just don't wander over to the trolls. The first time I was here as a kid, I walked over and died and I cried. Yatisso is gray and boring and it looks kind of smelly. C tier. I'm gonna put Miscellanea and etc. together because they're right next to each other. There's really not much going on, but it's not that bad. It's not unlivable, but it's not the best. C tier. Al-Kharid is really not that interesting, unfortunately, though it is iconic. It's the only desert city that you could actually get to as a free-to-play, so I spent a lot of time here as a kid, but the housing situation isn't really that great, and really there's not a lot to do, so we're gonna have to put it in C tier, sorry. Polnivnich is really not that bad. It's right next to the River Elid. Unfortunately, it does have a gang problem like Varrock, though the housing in Polnivnich is not terrible, so we're gonna put you in B tier. Narda fucking sucks. I don't know why, but it feels like being in Narda is probably like what being inside of an air fryer feels like. I don't know why, but it just seems like Narda is so hot for some reason. C tier. Sophonem is also referred to as the City of the Dead and is plague-ridden. Unlivable. Although the Sphinx is here, so that's pretty cool. We've finally arrived at our last place, on the main continent, that is. I'm gonna pronounce this first try, watch this. Prifddinas is a city full of elves, and it's gorgeous. It's got some stellar housing options. I'm choosing this house right outside of the city entrance, because, I don't know, I like it. Although the windows are kind of freaking me out, but I'll put some curtains over. Let's get the aesthetics out of the way first. It's beautiful. Also, historically, Prifddinas is the oldest surviving settlement on Gielinor. That means it was made in the First Age. How fucking cool is that? The mix of crystalline and wood architecture is gorgeous. There is so much to do, there's no way that a single day living here would be boring. Also, you're surrounded by hot elves, which is fucking awesome. And if you're having too good of a time, head on down to CG if you want to torture yourself. Guys, Prif is going into S tier. There's not even a debate. Whew. And with that, I've covered everything applicable to this list on the main continent. If you want me to check out the other continent, let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry if it's a little long. This is actually as short as I managed to get it, so as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see all of you again eventually. But until then, be seeing you.